Hi, good morning, everyone. Good morning. We don't have Barbara with us today, and hopefully she's enjoying a well-deserved Sunday off. So no music today, but we're glad everybody's here. Welcome. If you're new, welcome. We love to have newcomers join us. So a beautiful spring day. Finally, the weather's getting nice. It's going to be beautifully sunny here in New England today. So hopefully those of you in New England are going to enjoy your beautiful Sunday. So the first thing we do in our service is we read the daily word, which is a little booklet that Unity produces, and many of us I know subscribe to it. I do personally. And so today the word is gather. And the affirmation is, we gather and magnify the presence of God. As I gather with others in the spirit of love and peace, my awareness of God's presence becomes more powerful, even palpable. Together we create an energy, a vibration greater than any of us has alone. I am comfortable and at ease when I notice our differing appearances, preferences, backgrounds, and opinions, because I am reminded of the limitless diversity of divine expression and my place in it. When I join in fellowship with my family, friends, and all others who are dear to me, each of us becomes a mirror for the others. We see in one another the divine presence that lives in and expresses as every person. The unifying energy of divine love unites and binds us together. In this love, we are one. And the Bible passage is Psalm 133:1. How very good and pleasant it is when kindred live together in unity. Let me say that again. How very good and pleasant it is when kindred live together in unity. And again, the word is gather, and it's we gather and magnify the presence of God. And how exciting, like I think of this and the term gathering, how exciting it is that we'll actually be gathering in person soon. And we'll talk a little bit more about that, but beautiful passage. So next is our mission statement, and you'll see it in a moment scrolling across the bottom of the screen. Here it is, so you can say it along with me if you would like. The mission statement of Unity of the Seacoast is that we are a loving, nurturing community. We're dedicated to being a positive path to spiritual living, to awaken oneness with God within us all. All right, so sorry if my dog's noisy with his footsteps walking around the kitchen. Okay, updates and announcements for this week. Some of them are similar to what we say every week, but first and foremost, if you have any prayer needs, please let us know. If you want to be added to our prayer list, or if you want someone else added to the prayer list, please let us know by emailing Tom at tshinla@yahoo.com, and you can see his email address scrolling. And as we've shared in the past, we have a prayer team that does pray over prayer requests, and then we also send them to the Unity Prayer group at the headquarters internationally, and they also pray over the prayer requests. So please send Tom any requests that you may have. If you haven't already, check out our website. We archive our services there, as well as all of Charlie's meditations, and then anything else we may be doing in the future, such as study groups or those kinds of things, would be archived there as well. And there is a whole bevy of past services there for you to go back and listen to if you're ever interested. And particularly the meditations, which I think are things that we can use over and over again, right? So there's a whole resource of Charlie's meditations there now. And then there's just also general information about Unity of the Seacoast. And moving forward here pretty soon, we're going to be doing the walkabouts again. And the walkabouts and the announcements about those will also be on the website if you're interested when we start doing that again and seeing where we're meeting and what time on Saturday mornings. I'm assuming that's when it's going to be. There's also the button on the website if you wish to donate, and there's several other options if you are interested in making a donation. One is to simply mail a donation or to use the Tithely app, which is an app where we tithe, and you can set up automatic tithing there. It's downloadable on the Google Play and the Apple download, where you go to download apps. You can do that on either place. So if you are interested in, if you need to mail anything to Unity, or if you want to mail a donation to Unity, our address is scrolling at the bottom of the screen, and it is Unity of the Seacoast, and the P.O. Box is 1676. And that is in Dover, New Hampshire. And you can see the zip is 03821. So I've already mentioned Charlie and his meditations, but just a reminder that we're getting towards the end of the month. So Charlie's next Monday meditation is going to be on Monday, May 2nd, and those are at 7 p.m. So hopefully you'll be available to join us to listen to that meditation. And if not, again, you can find them on either the website, or you can actually see them on Facebook as well. You can just scroll through the Unity of the Seacoast website, Facebook page, and you can find those meditations there also, since they're streamed live on Facebook. Just a reminder that we're also streaming on YouTube. So if you have any friends that might be interested in the service but are not part of Facebook, then another option is to watch the service on YouTube, which is a little easier because you don't have to, anybody can access YouTube versus having to have a Facebook account. So I know personally I have some friends that are interested in watching this service but don't have Facebook, and so YouTube is a really great option for them. And in case you're interested or your friends are interested, you just have to know that when you go to YouTube, you have to, type in Unity of the Seacoast and just kind of scroll down, and you'll finally see, which one is live on a Sunday morning when you're trying to access it live. You'll see one of them will say live, and that'll be the session. It doesn't appear right at the top, unfortunately, but it's not super hard to find. And again, that works better for some people than Facebook. So news on moving to an in-house space. I think probably most people know, but in case you don't, we have rented a space in the McConnell building, and Tom and Tracy signed the lease this past week, and we are able to get in, and a couple people are going to start painting the space, and then Tracy is researching moving companies to move our everything that we have in storage into the space, and the hope is that we can begin having in-person sessions June. So that'll be fantastic, really exciting. Let's see. That we do not have fellowship today. We have a board meeting, so we won't have fellowship today. I believe, I don't know if we're going to have fellowship next week, but next week we are going to have a musical guest, and that is Faith Rivera. And I know some of us have seen her perform in the past. She did the Christmas Eve service this year, and so excited to have Faith Rivera as the musical guest next week. And those are, I believe, all of the announcements that I have for today. Hopefully I haven't missed anything. And so, again, we don't have music. So the next thing we'll do is have our Namaste. And Namaste is where we recognize each other, and we recognize that the light in us, or the Christ in us, sees the light or the Christ in you, and you can turn to your loved one, or you can just join us here as we say Namaste. Okay, so with that, normally we would have Barbara play, but that's okay. We're going to go straight to Tom, and so I'm excited to introduce Tom, who is our spiritual leader and wonderful, inspiring individual who we love dearly. And Tom, we're excited to hear about practical enlightenment today.
Morning, Bev. How are you?
I'm good.
Did you have a good week?
I did, yeah.
Good. Good morning, everyone. Always happy to be here. I'm going to ask you to take a moment and just breathe in and out. And to let that air just fill your lungs, feel your body settle into where you're sitting or standing or laying down. And as you do this, I want you to bring your mind to a time when you felt like you want to pat yourself on the back. You've done something unique, or you've solved something, or you've made something. You've used your hands, you've created something. Perhaps you had the right word in the right moment. You diffuse a situation, maybe at work, maybe in public, maybe at home with your kids. You planted your garden and you reap what it sows. Think of a time when you've made someone smile. Think of a time when someone's made you smile. A moment where you felt everything is flowing within you. You're in the zone. Life just seems to work with you, and there is no stress. And as you come back to me, open your eyes. And this is what I want to talk to you about today. These moments are enlightenment to me. Enlightenment is one of those words that brings up the image of sitting under the Bodhi tree, attaining some sort of connection that seems reserved for the most spiritual among us. People talk about achieving enlightenment and the secrets of the universe are revealed to them. They are talking directly to God. Let me begin by saying most of that is true. It is talking directly to God, or whatever word for source that you feel comfortable using. It is revealing the secrets of the universe and how to use them. But it's not reserved for the most spiritual. I tend to think that it's for all of us. Look, the world is made up of everyday people like you and me. The world's always been that way. The masses that Jesus spoke to were everyday people. Those people who follow his teachings are everyday people. Every major religion is made up of everyday people. And I believe the teachings are geared toward us. Enlightenment is not one of those things that happens sporadically and the world is open to us. I mean, I do have those aha moments. We all do. But to be honest, I have those aha moments when I pull in the driveway and I suddenly realize I forgot the one thing to pick up that my wife asked me to get while I was out. But life is made up in every moment that we are alive, from birth to death. We live in as many moments as possible. And we're meant to be enlightened in as many moments as possible. We are all meant to be in the zone. And I think the reasons artists or athletes get labeled more with being in the zone is because what they do is very visible and people want to see them at their highest level. We often work at our highest level. To do things in the moment, you have to be in the moment. But we were in the moment, just like the athletes, long before the skills were developed. Each moment along the process, the practice, the learning, the thinking, the refining, we are in the zone as long as we are using our personal gifts to our highest ability. When I play guitar, I'm immersed in the moment. We all have those moments. We all have those moments when we connect with all that we know, and we connect with God and God principle. And we succeed and fail, but we are alive. And I say fail because many failures are on the path to learning or perfecting something. You know, we're people living in as many moments as we can, trying to create our best life. We are exactly as God created us. We are all a unique expression of God, and we all choose our life. We choose what our path will be. Choosing what to excel in is part of that, as much as choosing what to do casually is part of that. And I'm a left-handed guitar player playing a right-handed guitar. I'm kind of tone deaf. I can't hold the pick. And I'm average at best. Why? Not because of the things I mentioned, but because my attachment to the idea of being a great player is limited by the interest and effort I put into it. If I wanted to be among the greats, I'm sure I could figure it out. If my desire was stronger, I would run scales every day. I would get off my butt and go take lessons from those who know more. But in those moments when I play, I'm in the moment because I feel whole and my attention is given into that moment. And it's like that in many aspects of my life. When I'm with my kids, I'm in the moment. I feel the good and sometimes the heartache. When I'm working on a project, I'm in the moment, whether that project succeeds or fails. Ever study and wonder what you read? I do that all the time. I've mailed in just the worst assignments because I could not wrap my head around what I was thinking. Other times, I got so into the topic that I've ordered more books on it. We all have ebbs and flows of our interest. We have ebbs and flows in living in the moment. It's part of us. I mean, I own a motorcycle because I'm more in the moment running around on that than I am in the Kia. But whether at times I realize it or not, I've chosen the moments when my levels of interest peak and settle. So you're thinking, okay, Tom, you strayed a bit from enlightenment, and I tend to do that. But perhaps not this time. Enlightenment is living in as many moments as possible. You are alive in the moments when you use all that you have in that moment and you give your attention to that moment. Enlightenment is taking all that God has given you and what you know and using it to create the most out of that moment. It doesn't have to be big. Most moments in life are not big. It doesn't mean they're less meaningful. It just means we have more average moments. You achieve enlightenment each time you work with what you know to fulfill each minute. Ever solve a problem and wonder, where'd that idea come from? And ever solve a problem and know exactly where the idea came from? Well, each time it's the same. You're using what you know in the moment. We each have our own unique wisdom and loving style. Yeah, I like to cook, and my wife likes to cook, and I don't cook anything without thinking if she will like it. Even if she's not home, I think that. I was making a sauce to go on top of salmon. I was using avocado and wasabi, and I decided to thin it out, so I used olive oil. It seemed to make sense, but it had a very earthy taste to it. And then something popped in my head and said, try adding sweet, spicy mustard. Something I don't know why I would have thought of that. But it softened the taste of the oil. It enhanced the wasabi. I mean, it was a small moment, but it was all done to make her smile. Being aware of things that make another smile, that's enlightenment to me. In that moment, I was listening to that small inner voice. And these are the things that we do every day in our life. We just don't equate it to be enlightened, to being working with God and creating our best moment. We used to live in Loudon. An old home day in our town was a day when the streets would shut down and everyone in town would come out to celebrate the town. And our house was in the center of town. Every year we would open it up to family and friends. One year my wife got this idea that she was going to grease a watermelon and throw it in the pool. Now let me explain. This was a small idea because across the street they had parades and fireworks and bands, and there was a small carnival going on. The town worked all year on it. Yet what was remembered was all the kids and eventually the adults jumping in and out of our pool trying to grab that watermelon. That moment has lived on in our family and friends for 17 years. That was a moment of enlightened fun. We have those moments in how we treat others. We offer a smile when we could easily have given a frown or a bad word. At any given moment, we offer a smile because we never know what another person might be going through. But we can add a little light to their day. Because if you're only living a life that's about you, I've said this before, then you're only living half a life. Ever need a smile and it was there? It's an enlightened moment. Ever help another and change their moment? That is an enlightened moment. Ever just listen to a person when your mind is not thinking about what to say next? That is an enlightened moment. Ever step back and decide that your interpretation of a situation or something might not be the only one? And perhaps that person has their own idea of the situation, has nothing to do with you. That's an enlightened moment. Ever just get a new perspective? Years ago, when I quit drinking, I was at a party and everyone was drinking. And normally I'm okay with that. But on this day, people kept trying to encourage me to drink. And I felt I had nobody in my corner. So I called my son just to hear a loving voice. And he said something so simple. He said, "Dad, just go home. They don't have your best interest, so why stay?" It's like, duh, he's right. It was so simple, but I didn't see it. It was a nice Florida day. I got in my car and I took off. I had a wonderful afternoon. It's an enlightened moment from my son to me. Meditation is sitting and listening to that still silent voice to connect with God. That's part of it. Meditation is teaching us how to open up to that. It's teaching us to listen. Most messages do not come to me during a meditation. They come during the average moments of my day. Meditation has taught me to listen and to know. Meditation is training your mind for life. And I have had great thoughts during meditation, but sometimes nothing occurs. But it happens during my day, those things occur, because I've taught myself to be open and to use what I know. Remember the story of David and Goliath? I tell it all the time. David used a rock and slew Goliath. He used what he knew. Because that voice inside himself he had listened to before, it told him he had the skills to use what he knew. He chased down and took down beasts that threatened his flock. He saw Goliath as nothing more than a beast. We all have skills that are unique to us. A mechanic is trying to remove a frozen wheel bearing and it just won't come off. But then he remembers, if you heat something, it expands. So he gets a torch and he heats the metal around it and pop, it releases a wheel bearing. He's using what he knows. That's an enlightened moment. On your way home, you see construction up ahead and you think, if I take 6th Street down to Central Ave and I turn off on Oak, I can avoid this mess. You are using what you know in the moment. I remember, 30 some years ago, I was playing a softball game. We were about to play against a team that I really wanted to beat. The team we were playing against consisted of my high school baseball team. And I didn't want to look bad. I wanted to speed up my practice and my reaction time. My friend decided to use his lacrosse stick and just beam the ball at me from every angle. We did that for the whole week. And then during the game, their star player, who's just a great athlete, really nice guy too. But he hit a line shot that was rising and should have cleared the fence. And I say should have cleared the fence because I had seen that shot coming to me all week as my friend practiced with me. I dove, I stabbed at it. I was on first base. He was out, and I got the guy on first base out. Now they all came cheering, lifted me up, and we won the game. All right, that part's not true. We actually still lost. We lost every moment that season, every game that season. But it was one of the best moments in my sports life. And I've had years of fond memories of that because it was an enlightened moment on my friend's part to teach me what he knew. Part of enlightenment, though, comes with responsibilities and ethics. To be enlightened, to be in an enlightened state, we first must realize that our thoughts, our behaviors, and actions affect the world around us. So we refrain from acting destructively. In other words, we be kind. We be kind to ourselves, to others, to our planet, and every time we can be. If our actions, thoughts, words, and deeds negatively affect the world around us, we must pause and rethink. You're not responsible for the way others may react, but you're responsible to be pure in your thoughts, words, and deeds. Legal doesn't make something ethical. Remember, slavery was legal, wasn't ethical. Understand everything's right to exist. That means understanding everything's true nature to exist and not to project your own perceptions on their existence. Exercise self-control and self-discipline. Refrain from anger, fear, and reacting with emotion. Take time to ponder. Examine your actions and the world around you. We are the image of God. That image is love and wisdom. So use a balance of love and wisdom and let go of apathy and develop compassion and empathy. When you do this, you become the teacher. We cannot eliminate others' suffering, but we don't add to it. We aid where we can, but be the beacon of enlightenment by living your best life. Just like it is with you, God will do for others what they allow God to do through themselves. Live life from the blessings that is the life that's been given to you. Remember, your blessings are unique to you. Enlightenment happens when we stop living from the egoic mind. The egoic mind is that which separates us from others or places ourselves or others above another. I'm not talking about pride. Be careful confusing pride with ego. We all need pride. It's a necessary emotion. But when it shifts to ego, it becomes dangerous. I think of pride like this. A child draws you a picture of a house and you look at it and clearly it does not look like a house. But you say, wow, what a beautiful picture of a house you drew. And the windows look so realistic. Well, that child will feel pride. And then each time that child draws a house, it will look better and better. And those windows will look more realistic each time. Because you've given pride to the child. We all have pride in certain aspects of our lives. It's how we develop skills. I'm proud of the skills my hands can do. I'm not better than another, but I'm the best me that I can be, or at least I'm always trying to be the best me. Be confident in your gifts. Be confident in your ability to try harder to be the best you. And there are people who struggle with this confidence because we all have insecurities. We may think we don't look like we should, or people don't like us, or I'm not good enough, or whatever reasons that we berate ourselves. We need to learn to let that go. God did not make a mistake on you. God doesn't work like that. Allow the world to love you for who you are. Allow the world to see your confidence. So your insecurities, like all of us, there were corruption of us from the outer realm. We were not born corrupted. We were born perfect. You were born the perfect you. Trust me when I say this. But somehow we all have taken on those things that can make us feel less than. But the truth, again, is you were born perfect and enough. And you can operate from that belief always, in every minute. Enlightenment is knowing that you are enough. It's not about looks or skills or clothes or money. The so-called beautiful, successful people struggle as much as the rest of us. Enlightenment is creating a life by incorporating love and wisdom into as many moments as possible. Develop your mystic muscles. Take time to meditate. Take time to look at the world through a new perspective and new perceptions. Take time to listen to music and books and stories and be creative. Take time to tell others that you love them and care about them. Thank people for whatever they do. The more you act and react with love and wisdom, the more it becomes your default position. Soon you will just do it naturally. And that's the way it should be. Love and wisdom. That's our natural image. That's our natural position. Your mystic muscles are the muscles we had when we were born, before the external corruption. It's shining the light of God to brighten as many moments as possible. Just like we train our body to have muscle memory, we train our minds to do the same. We're building new neural pathways. Enlightenment is a conscious, chosen behavior. Each time we choose it, it makes it easier for the next time. Enlightenment doesn't get pigeonholed into a specific religion or movement. It's not a political force. It's a tool, a type of thinking. It's a way of looking and using all the truth in our everyday lives. Jesus was enlightened when he recognized the hypocrisy of the ruling classes. Do we have that today? You bet. Remember, it was wrong to select a Supreme Court justice in election year. 4 years later, it was imperative that we select a Supreme Court justice in election years. And I bring in politics every now and then, not because I want you to believe like me. I want our country and our world to pick leaders of value. Use your enlightened mind and pick leaders based on value. And it's the same with me. If I don't live up to some sort of value system, then I shouldn't be talking to you. Enlightenment is in all aspects of our lives. It's how we use and understand science and science principles, in how we act. It's in the example that we set, in the love that we offer to the world. It's in who we align ourselves with and the values that we carry. Hate is not enlightenment. Apathy is not enlightenment. Hypocrisy is not enlightenment. We can name many things that we know are not enlightened behaviors: greed, prejudging, gossip, mocking, impatience, criticism, etc. When we act from false emotions, we are not enlightened. We've been hijacked out of the moment. Even in the name of love, we can act out of desperation and fear. When that happens, pull yourself back into the moment and react from consciousness. Acting on love is only half. Remember earlier I said it's a balance of love and wisdom. Don't overthink. Don't stress or worry. Stress and worry, they're just signals that attention needs to be given somewhere. But once you're aware of those emotions, they've done their job. Let them go. Get back to living in the moment. Say the age of enlightenment was actually a period of time, and it had an ending date. This blows my mind. The year was 1804, the year a German Enlightenment philosopher named Immanuel Kant died. I just find it funny that they pinpoint when Enlightenment ended. Though there are times I look around and I think perhaps it has. But it was a time of religious tolerance. It was a time of individual liberties. It was a time of information exchange and artistic freedom. It was a time to reflect on the lessons learned from the past with an eye on how they will benefit the future. That same guy, Immanuel Kant, called it a time to dare to know. I like that. Take time to dare to know and dare to be kind. Enlightenment is us knowing our connection to all and working with that in our day-to-day lives. We get to take those enlightened concepts to heart. We at Unity practice religious freedom and tolerance. We practice tolerance of ourselves and others. We honor the exchange of ideas and the freedoms of expressions. And we reflect on the lessons and use wisdom to move forward. So if you want to sit under the Bodhi tree to achieve enlightenment, that's great. But you can also do it sitting in your kitchen. You can do it picking up a can of tuna saying, I just felt like tuna today. But remember, each time you're enlightened in each moment, and in as many moments as possible, and each time you do or act or think in a way that moves your life forward, just step back and think and give yourself a smile and think, I'm enlightened. Now, I would like to take this time for a prayer for others. And if you're someone you're praying about, type their name in the comment box, their initials. And if that's not comfortable for you, then a heart emoji, a prayer emoji. And if that's not comfortable, just hold them in your heart. Today we affirm the wholeness of the world. We affirm a deeper connection to all. We think of our loved ones, our friends, our families. We think of those known and unknown to us. We see them in wholeness, health, and happiness. We see them living their enlightened moments. We offer them love. And I ask you, if you have that kind of relationship and you can reach out to the person, reach out and tell them that you're thinking about them, that you love them, that you've prayed for them. The fastest way for a prayer to land is to let that person know that you're thinking of them. There's another prayer that we do called the prayer of affirmations and tithes. I'm going to ask you to place your hand over your heart and repeat this with me. Divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And so it is. I would like to finish this service with the prayer protection by James Dillett Freeman. The light of God surrounds you. The love of God enfolds you. The power of God protects you. The presence of God watches over you. Wherever you are, God is, and all is well, and we are richly blessed.